Hello and welcome. I'm Camille Alemia, and welcome to Rappler's The Leader I Want series, a campaign that aims to put the focus on issues and platforms and not on personalities. Today we will be joined by one of the administration's senatorial candidates, Senator Koko Pimentel, who's the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Trade and Commerce. He's also the president of ruling party PDP-Laban. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, Camille.
Sir, congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you.
How are you two doing? And how is your wife adjusting to political life?
Well, no adjustment is still necessary as of the moment. Maybe by February when campaign starts.
So what
we
role
will
is
see then.
What role is she going to play, sir, in your campaign or in PDP-Laban's campaign?
Well, she will be playing a high-profile role because she will be like a proxy to the candidate in big rallies where I cannot attend. I will ask her to be there, and of course, whether election period or not, Kath is the head of our PDP Cares humanitarian program. So let us pray na walang kalamidad, but just in case meron pong mga kailangan ng tulong, that program is always there, and that's headed by my wife, Kath.
Sir, one of the hottest topics this week is the arrest order, Sandigan Bayan's arrest order against former First Lady Imelda Marcos. But until now, there is still no arrest warrant. How do you make of it?
Actually, that's normal. No? I think there was a promulgation of judgment or decision, and the justices looked for the accused as well as her counsel, and they were both absent. So the justices canceled the bail. But then this happens, and then you give time to the person affected by the order to explain.
Sir, pero sinasabi na she's too old already to go to jail.
Walang ganong argument. The explanation is why you were absent during the promulgation, where I think presence was required. Yun lang yun. But age cannot be used as an escape from criminal liability unless you are a child. Sa bata lang po yun. Hindi pwede sa matanda ano yun. Unless may insanity defense, wala naman yata.
Sir, pero so do you think that she should go to jail to follow the orders of the Sandigan Bayan?
If that is ordered with finality by a court, be it the Sandigan Bayan or the Supreme Court, then it should be enforced. Wala na po tayong discretion doon.
Sir, people cannot help but compare it to the case of Senator Antonio Trillanes na wala pang arrest warrant and the police and other authorities seem to be eager to arrest him. So how can you reconcile that difference? Perceived difference?
I think there are factual differences in the way the case is developed.
Like what, sir?
Hindi, kailangan pag-aralan natin. I'm not familiar with the each procedural step in the Trillanes case or cases, and I am also not familiar with each procedural step in the Imelda cases.
Pero
I think Imelda cases, 7 cases yata yan out of 10. No?
Pero it's not because of the Marcoses' ties to the administration. And we all know...
Wag tayong ganun. Each case will have its own factual setting. Hindi to factual on the criminal case, but on the procedure. So let us not be quick to compare and then to cite an injustice committed against one just because the other one is treated differently. People can be treated differently because they are situated differently. Pwede po yun. Hindi po unfair yun.
Sir, another issue is the selection of the third telecommunication company in the Philippines. What can you say about the selection process?
Well, it has taken a long time, and I think the department tried its best to make it transparent.
Sir, pero now the provisional third telco is Misatel Consortium. It's between Dennis Uy and China Telecom. Do you have any concerns about the entry of China Telecom into the Philippines?
Hindi ba Globe is also Singtel? So ganun lang din po yun. I mean, I think we need a foreign partner who is technically capable. Kasi yun na, mahina ang science sa Pilipinas. Wala naman tayong homegrown invention related to telecommunication. So we have to partner with a foreign company. So wag po tayong magkaroon ng allergic reaction just because the foreign company partnering with the Dennis Uy happens to be a Chinese company.
So no need for the Filipinos to worry about the possible entry of China Telecom into the Philippines?
Yes, no need to worry. Pero, well, pagdating na po sa ibang infrastructure, bantayan natin. Pero ito naman this is a public utility, a telecommunication franchise or a company na meron na rin pong foreign player. Ang gusto ko lang sabihin, let us also be fair and not be allergic or raise alarm bells just because the foreign player is Chinese. May foreign player din dun sa kabila eh.
Sir, now let's talk about the 2019 elections. It's only been a month since you filed your COC, but you're already facing 2 disqualification cases. How do you view this? And what is your best defense or argument to counter these 2 cases?
Well, una sa lahat, this is a free country. They can really file the disqualification cases. Unfortunately, yung second case just copied the first case. So, I mean, yeah. So that is already an indication that the purpose is not really legal but political or propaganda. Just to say na, uy, ang daming disqualification cases, yun pala, nagkokopyahan lang. We are not worried kasi the law is settled already. Ang bago lang naman sa situation ko is senador ako na nanalo ng isang election protest sa Senate Electoral Tribunal. Pero settled na po ang law because a mayor has won a case before the courts, a congressman has won a case before the House of Representatives Electoral Tribunal. So ang bago lang is senador ang nanalo ng kanyang protesta. But the doctrine that a protestant in a protest who wins his case did not start the term. Kaya nga siya nagprotesta kasi nga hindi nga siya, from the start, hindi siya ang na-proclaim. So, that is an uncompleted term not due to the fault of the person. Kasi nga, lumaban nga eh. So, kaya nga yung pangalawang case against me na DQ, ang ginamit niyang rule is election offense. So sabi ko, ano naman ang kasalanan ko? Pinapadisqualify ako because I committed an election offense. Anong election offense ko na? Ako po ay dinaya, pero ako'y lumaban at nanalo. Oh, is that an election offense? So, medyo nakakatawa na po itong mga pangyayaring ito. At ilalaban naman namin sa COMELEC.
Sir, do you think this will reach the Supreme Court?
Again, this is a free country. They can make this reach all the way to the Supreme Court. But I trust in the wisdom of the Supreme Court. At sasabihin nila, nakita na namin ito before. And hindi na siguro nila papatagalin.
Sir, why are you running for re-election in 2019? And what else can you offer?
Because alam mo, ako, ang feeling ko, ang mission ko sa buhay is to help the country. Marami pa tayong ideas na kailangan i-testing or gawin.
Like what?
Okay, for example, itong sa geriatric medicine for our senior citizens. Kasi papunta na tayo ron eh. Tumatanda na po ang population ng Pilipinas, but are we anticipating that scenario? So palakasin na po natin this early ang geriatric medicine. Department of OFWs, wala pa rin po yun. Marami pa, and of course, this fight against itong paglaban sa pagtaas ng presyo. Hindi naman ito natatapos eh, kasi ang phenomenon ng inflation always with us, sometimes mild, sometimes mabilis. So, our review of our tax policies, review of our trade policies, and of course, parati tayong nag-iisip, how can we be productive as a people? Actually, yun po ang long-term, yun ang long-term solution against inflation eh. We have to be productive as a people.
So what do you plan to file? What kind of bill do you plan to file to improve the people's productivity or the nation's productivity?
Well, we look at the entirety of the life of the Filipino. Okay, so number 1, paano magiging productive? Dapat yung oras natin sa eskwelahan, productive na tayo, hindi natin wini-waste. So ang oras hindi bumabalik eh. So habang bata pa lang yung curriculum, ayusin natin. And then, so we are educated, yung mga gustong college degree, educated with skills that they can use in life. Yung walang tiyaga for a college degree, at least andyan yung technical education natin. And then, there should be so human capital yan, ang tawag dyan. We invest in human capital. Yung mga tao natin should be skilled enough to be productive. And of course, we have to make sure that they are happy. We have a happy society. And of course, our physical capital. Mag-invest din po tayo dyan. So, tama naman yung build, no, na hindi ito inaaksaya. So, our airports, our seaports, our highways or tollways, ayusin natin yan. Because hindi lang yan gamit sa turista, gamit din po yan sa trade. Now, ang kailangan lang natin i-solve is paano natin mapababa ang cost ng transporting goods sa ating mga all over our archipelago. That is the big riddle or puzzle that we have to solve.
Give us your top 3 priority legislations if you get elected again in the Senate in 2019.
Well, unahin ko nga yung sa geriatric medicine kasi talagang yun ang prediction ko. And then, a bill which will strengthen our science culture, scholarships. Konektado rin yun, makakatulong din yun sa medicine. And of course, our right to food, right to strengthening our rights, right to food, right to water, and even right to internet access.
Sir, you're the president of PDP-Laban and you're also a re-electionist senator. How will you balance campaigning for yourself and for the slate of PDP-Laban?
Okay, madali na po yun. The party has already established a campaign committee.
Composed of whom, sir?
Led by Senator Manny Pacquiao. And then he will be assisted by Secretary Alcusi. And then there are some party members below them. So sila na po yung mga magka-campaign. And I will just follow their orders. I will follow their schedule. And then I have my own campaign team. So separate po yun.
Sir, can you share to us how you arrived at the decision of getting Senator Manny Pacquiao as the primary campaign manager of PDP-Laban?
Well, number 1 is a party member. Number 2, he is not running, so he has the time and to focus on the job at hand. Number 3, he's well loved by the Filipino people. His network is extensive, and he has a local regional party, so he knows how to run a political organization. And then number 6 is he's also interested. Gusto din niya eh. Kaya binigay po namin sa kanya.
Pero sir, magiging factor ba na meron siyang boxing match? Feb or January?
Hindi, January. Klaro na yon. Sinabi rin niya sa akin na no problem. Kasi February pa ang start ng actual campaign. But of course, we are already preparing.
Sir, what do you think will be the advantage of PDP-Laban senatorial candidates in 2019?
Well, number 1 is the extensive party machinery kasi lumaki ang partido under the administration of President Duterte. Number 2 is the identification with the very popular incumbent President Duterte. And then number 3, of course, this campaign team led by Senator Pacquiao and Secretary Cusi. And then number 4 is the fact that ang PDP-Laban, sanay kami na issues-based campaign. So advantage po yun. Sa tingin ko, ang hinahanap na ng taong bayan ngayon is issues na. Meron din kaming kakantahan siguro sa mga rally just as intermission numbers. Pero expect natin na yung aming mga kandidato, plataforma po, plano, programa de gobyerno ang kanilang bigyan ng priority.
Sir, what about disadvantages? Do you see any of that?
Wala eh. So kaya nga, we're excited to start the campaign already.
Sir, PDP-Laban, parang kayo ang ruling party, but also the president's daughter also has her own party. While you may say that it's a regional party, yes, maraming national candidates pa rin ang pumupunta sa kanya. How has it affected PDP-Laban?
It has not affected us, but moving forward, this is the plan. we will have, PDP-Laban will have to, the campaign managers, si Senator Pacquiao and Secretary Cusi, will have to coordinate with HNP. Kami kasi we are 5 sa PDP-Laban. But we can expand it to a maximum of 12 for senators, depending on our campaign managers. But to expand 5 to 12, I think we need to coordinate with HNP and with the President himself. Kasi we expect the President to proclaim or to help or to raise the hands of the senatorial candidates of PDP-Laban. So, if you make it to the PDP-Laban senatorial list of candidates, it must have the prior approval of the President. So, ganun po. So, we will coordinate because ganito ang attitude ng PDP-Laban sa HNP. We are not competitors. We are friends or allies. We fall under one umbrella. And this is the umbrella of all organizations, all parties, personalities, and people supportive of President Duterte. So wag kami mag-away-away.
Sir, pero so far, 5 candidates ang PDP-Laban, official candidates. When are we gonna know the 12 members slate?
I will have to defer now to our campaign managers. That depends on Senator Manny Pacquiao and Secretary Alcusi.
Why, sir?
Because,
but you're the president.
Oh, yun na yun. My job is done. My job is done. I have already conducted a deep search within the party on who can run for senator. So we came up with 5. Ang plano, 12. But we came up with 5. So let it be. Yan na yun. We have to live with the 5 candidates in-house, parang from within the party. So candidates for senator. Ngayon, if we want to expand that to 12, that's the decision of the campaign managers. Ibigay ko na, tapos na yung trabaho ko eh.
Sir, pero si President Duterte has endorsed Freddy Aguilar, Amy Marcos, and some other candidates na wala pa sa PDP-Laban. How do you view that?
No, they are not PDP-Laban official candidates nga. So, but if we will expand it to the 5 to 12, ipaubaya ko na po yan, ibigay ko na po yan sa campaign managers namin. But as of the moment, yung 5, mabago ko to. O, yun po yung aming parang memory device. Mangodadato, Bato, Bongo, Koko Pimentel, and Francis Tolentino.
Pero sir, are you open to getting Amy Marcos as part of the PDP-Laban slate, yung in coalition with other parties?
Hindi na siguro magiging PDP-Laban slate yan. There will be a new name for that kind of a slate. So, ipaubaya ko na po kay campaign manager Senator Pacquiao.
Pero sir, willing kayo? We all know the histories of your family. Are you willing?
Basta hindi sila PDP-Laban. Tapos na po kami. Basta 5 po ang kandidato ng PDP-Laban. If this will be expanded, paubaya ko na sa campaign managers namin.
Basta in coalition, not PDP-Laban?
Not PDP. Tapos na po kami. PDP-Laban has already fixed the list of official senatorial candidates and there are only 5.
Sir, on top of this, PDP-Laban is also continuously plagued by the issue of Bic Garcia, yung faction niya. And now the case is pending in COMELEC. How do you plan to solve this issue na until now, kahit na sinasabi nyo they're a rogue faction?
It's pending. That is the solution, that there must be a referee kasi naman we will become a banana republic if an established political party can just be grabbed by a group of people who say now we are now the new leaders of the party. So we must have an objective referee, and they will base it on documents they have in their possession, their past acts. Sino ba ang na-recognize na ng COMELEC na presidente ng PDP-Laban since time immemorial? They know that. COMELEC knows that. So it's already pending with COMELEC, and sana ma-resolve na rin in quickly, dapat mabilis.
Pero sir, you're confident that COMELEC will side with you, the legitimate part of PDP-Laban?
Oh, kasi what can you do? Can you force, okay, if the COMELEC will, let us say na Mr. X is now the new leader of PDP-Laban, can you force the members of PDP-Laban to follow the order of Mr. X, whom they do not even know? Ang dami ng PDP-Laban nung nag-meet kami sa isang hotel dito na pinatawag ng presidente, sabi nila, turo mo nga sa amin, sino ba yan si Bic Garcia, hindi namin kilala. So, how can you just all of a sudden say na you are now the president of an established political party? kung payagan natin yan, delikado tayo. It will not only happen to PDP-Laban. Some people will see an opening. It will happen now to some established political parties in the future. And kung ganyan na, we will become a banana republic.
Sir, how involved is President Duterte in PDP-Laban?
Hindi masyado kasi he's running the country. As the father of the nation, kung pwedeng ang minimal ang kanyang involvement in party matters. But whenever we invite him, he attends. And then, but for the slate, itong PDP-Laban senatorial ticket, he was heavily involved. Kaya na limit to 5.
Sir, pero let me just clarify, kasi si President Duterte is endorsing candidates, let's say Freddy Aguilar, who's part of the so-called rogue faction. If he endorses Freddy Aguilar, pwede siyang makasama sa coalition?
Okay, ganito yung kay Freddy Aguilar. That was one-time positive, some favorable words said by the President in favor of Freddy Aguilar. But that doesn't mean that that's already an endorsement. So, pasa na natin yan kay Senator Manny Pacquiao, Secretary Alcusi, in coordination directly with the President on how to now expand the list of 5 PDP-Laban to 12 if they should desire to increase it to 12.
So until now, hindi pa rin kayo sigurado if makakabuo ng 12 in coalition with other parties?
Number one, the law does not require that we field 12. Ako, as president of the party, I tried my best to come up with 12. I came up with 5. I'm happy with the 5.
But President Duterte wants 12 ba? Based sa pag-uusap ninyo?
Well, sinabi niya sayang daw yung slots, gawin natin 12, but tingnan natin. Basta ako, I'm already, my job is finished. It's now the campaign manager's call.
Sir, about the 3 NP women, kasi like I talked to sources, sinasabi na most likely they're part of the PDP coalition slate. That's Pia Cayetano, Cynthia Villar, and Amy Marcos. Can you comment on that? Ilang % sure na tong talks na to?
Just as I've stated earlier, that should be now addressed to Senator Manny Pacquiao and Secretary Alcusi. Ano na yan? Negotiations na po yan.
So, sir,
kasi detalye yan eh. Okay, when you're with us, paano scheduling, mag-share ba kayo sa gastos, mga ganon. Ano na po yan? Masyado na pong negotiations na po yan.
So kayo, as re-electionist senator, kahit na president kayo, ayaw nyo nang involved dun sa ganong negotiation process?
Oo, kasi I am no longer president of the umbrella I'm just president of the PDP-Laban. We have done our best. We have now 5 official candidates for senator. We have identified our campaign manager, Senator Manny Pacquiao, and we will follow his instructions on the campaign.
Sir, how will you reconcile President Duterte's promise of change with his support for the so-called old guards in politics, like former President Arroyo, the Marcos family, the Revillas, and so on?
They will have to now embrace his reform mindset. Yun lang yun. You may be an old name, you may be an old person. The President has a favorable impression of you, but then you will now have to support the President's reform mindset. Pag hindi, if you keep on opposing it, sooner or later, the favorable impression might change, di ba? So ganun lang po yun. It doesn't mean that just because you're an old name or already a familiar person and you've been identified with politics for decades already, that you cannot be reform-minded. So pwede pa rin. Let's give everybody a chance or even a second chance.
Sir, what will be the role of President Duterte in the 2019 campaign of PDP-Laban? Ano exactly yung gagawin niya? Or hihingin niyo rin sa kanya?
I will suggest to our campaign managers nga to ask the President to campaign with us.
Like physically,
physically be present with, especially in the big rallies. Ganun na lang. Tulong-tulong lang. Tulong-tulong kami.
Sir, let's talk about the Philippine economy kasi I think this will be a major issue in the 2019 campaign. How do you think the problem of inflation should be solved?
Well, inflation, there is a theory that inflation is caused by monetary supply. Too much money being available, chasing the same number of goods. Kaya nga, number one is either increase your productivity by increasing the supply of the goods being chased by the amount of money. Or, if there are restrictions in the entry of the goods, relax those restrictions and allow the entry of the goods. So, and I think we're doing it already na ang ginagawa natin, sana, and then kaya point ko, sana as a temporary measure, okay, alisin yung mga restrictions on the entry of basic commodities like our vegetables and even rice, okay. But the long-term solution is our Filipinos should ourselves be productive. So yun po yun.
Sir, are you concerned that your vote on the train law will affect your chances of winning in 2019 because you filed for
Yes, I don't think so. Especially kung malaman ng taong bayan na ang train law has actually two components. Yung first component is the reduction in the personal income tax. At yun yung aking chinampion, yun yung aking favorite topic. Nung kampanya pa lang, yan po ay napangako ng presidente, kaya po yan po ay aming tinuloy. Yung second part, which is to raise revenues, reality na po yun eh. We are running a government, we are running a country. How can you have a government running a country addressing the problems of the people na wala siyang cash flow, wala siyang revenue? So, out of necessity na lang po yung part 2. Pero yung part 1 ng essence ng train law, the reduction of the personal income taxes kasi unfair na masyado. Andun na lahat, nagkumpulan na lahat dun sa maximum bracket because the bracket as well as the rate were set decades ago, in 1994 yata, if I'm not mistaken.
Sir, inflation is partly to be blamed for the decline in President Duterte's numbers. Pero nabawi, it's fluctuating. But how do you see this affecting the chances of PDP-Laban candidates?
Well, the government is doing its best to counter inflation. Tama naman yun eh. When you see inflation rearing its ugly head, encounter mo na yun before it explodes into or it spirals into hyperinflation. So ginawa naman, in-address na eh. So, and 6.7, I mean, I think we have lived with higher inflation rate in the past eh. So, kumikilos naman po ang gobyerno. So, by February, sa tingin ko, start ng campaign, mararamdaman na ng taong bayan yung effect ng kinikilos ngayon. So, we should be worried but not so worried. Worried to the point now we also contribute what we know and advise the executive branch on how to counter inflation.
Sir, any message to the public?
Well, let us continue, my dear fellow Filipinos, let us continue to support the initiatives of our reform-minded president, supported by his political party, PDP-Laban. And one way of showing our support is through the ballot. So, ang pakiusap ko lang po is be involved and then go out and vote in 2019.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And that was Senator Aquilino Koko Pimentel III, the president of PDP-Laban. We talked to him about his plans for 2019 as well as the party's endeavors, and we also talked to him about his platform, which includes geriatric medicine and the improvement of the Philippine economy. Thank you for watching.